Welcome back. This is LTC 04 in our long-term care predictability series. Today, we're going to run a safety risk workshop that most projects skip until it's too late. The goal is simple. Identify the safety risks that actually drive layout decisions, then lock the control points and constraints before you approve a plan direction. If you do this early, you prevent late redesign, and you give staff an environment that supports safe practice under real-world conditions. This is for operators, administrators, director of nursings, and clinical leaders, facilities teams, and development partners. The stakes are not theoretical. When safety decisions arrive late, the plan gets redrawn. And when the building doesn't support supervision and safe responses, staff compensate with workarounds, which increases stress, increases variability, and can raise compliance exposure. Today, we're going to reduce all those risks with a one-page workshop. Here's the predictable pattern. A project starts with a concept plan. It gains momentum. Then later, often in design development, someone asks the safety questions that should have been asked first. What must be seen? What must be controlled? Where staff need backup routes? And how movement is managed? That's when late decisions force redesign. And the redesign doesn't stay contained. It ripples into door hardware, staffing anchors, systems, and schedule. The point of today is to run those decisions early while it's still cheap. By the end of this video, you'll have 5 outputs. Your highest risk moments, a plain language risk rating, a control points map, a short list of non-negotiable constraints for the design team, and a go or no-go decision about whether it's safe to lock a layout direction. You don't need a 40-page report. You need decisions that everyone agrees on. This is the SRW Canvas, the Safety Risk Workshop. If you want to follow along, pause here, go ahead and download it. Just a quick note, this workshop supports prevention planning and operational alignment. Requirements vary by jurisdiction and program, and this is not intended as legal or clinical advice. It's a structured way to make sure the right people answer the right questions early, before the layout gets locked. Step 1 is listing the highest risk moments, when supervision and response are most stressed. I want 5, not 15. The goal is focus. Think about the moment when the building gets peaked, when staff are stretched and movement increases. Some common examples are things like med pass, meals, shift change, admissions. And the times when wandering risk rises. As you write each moment, capture 2 things: why it matters, so what risk it creates, and who owns the response in real life, not a name, a role. This immediately tells the design team what must be supported. For example, med pass during peak because the staff are moving frequently with controlled materials and interruptions are high, or shift change because coverage thins and visibility gaps appear. Step 2 is rating your risk categories. This is not a clinical assessment. It's a planning rating in plain language, so the building supports safe practice. We rate observation gaps or blind spots. We rate elopement or unauthorized exit risk. We rate self-harm risk from a prevention standpoint, meaning we identify where additional environmental controls and supervision decisions may be required. We rate escalation risk if that's part of your program reality. And falls risk is optional, but often useful. The key is the next column, where it shows up, what areas and what times. This prevents vague statements like, we need good visibility, and replaces them with something designable like, we need reliable visibility in these corridors during these peak moments. Now let's define the core concept of this workshop, and that is the control points. You see, a control point is a place where you intentionally manage one of three things: visibility, access, or response. This is not about making the building feel restrictive. It's about designing the environment so staff can supervise reliably and respond safely without a heroic effort. If you can name your control points early, you can stop treating safety as a policy issue and start treating it as a design decision. Step 3 is listing 3 to 6 control points. For each control point, write the location in plain language, like the main threshold into the resident wing, or the intersection where sightlines break, or the transition between public and resident space. Then write what is controlled: visibility, access, or response. And then write how staff cover it, what anchor supports it, and what backup route exists if the staff needed help quickly. If you can't describe coverage and backup, the control point isn't real yet. It's just hope. Step 4 is the controls menu. These are the must-be true checks that translate directly into layout constraints. We confirm that sightlines support the required observation. We confirm that controlled thresholds are intentional, meaning you know where access is restricted and it's manageable for the staff. We confirm staff anchors are positioned for supervision. We confirm that there's a reliable response route that's fast and safe without congestion. We confirm visitor and service circulation doesn't create uncontrolled leaks into high-risk areas. And we confirm staff respite and decompress space supports performance under stress. If any of these are uncertain, you've identified a design decision that must be made before you lock the layout. Step 5 is where this becomes usable. Non-negotiables. I want 5 to 8 statements that are specific and testable. For example, the staff base must have reliable visibility to this corridor during peak moments. Or there must be a controlled threshold here so public circulation cannot drift into resident areas. Or there must be a fast backup route from staff support to this control point without crossing dining congestion. Those statements are not preferences, they're constraints. This is what you hand to the design team so they don't have to guess on what safety means. Now, let's make the decision. The SRW canvas ends with a go or no-go gate. You go to layout lock only if the highest risk moments are agreed. The risk categories are rated with clear where and when notes, and the control points are identified with staff coverage and backup routes. And the non-negotiables are written and owned. If any open safety question would change the layout, the doors, thresholds, safety anchors, or circulations, you don't lock the layout direction yet. That's not slowing the project down. It's preventing predictable redesign. So let's recap. We started by naming the high-risk moments. We rated risk categories in plain language and identified where and when they show up. We mapped control points, places where visibility, access, or response must be internally managed. And we turned that into non-negotiable constraints for the design team. And we made a go or no-go decision about whether it's time to lock the layout. The next is long-term care 05, where we take these safety constraints and translate them into adjacencies and flows. Staff flow, med flow, clean and dirty separation. So the building works in daily operations, not just on paper. If you want predictability, don't debate layouts before you run the safety workshop. Decisions first, drawings second. Download the SRW canvas below.